Hey everyone, it's Cody Smith, joined by Eric Wallace today on the Novi Knows podcast. I'm actually excited to have Eric on. He was a target for one of the first people that I wanted on the podcast, specifically based on some things that they've been able to accomplish. Eric he is the sales and marketing director for Fulford Homes, based out of Illinois. And Eric, I pulled some numbers today. Officially, you guys launched, I believe, August 8th, 2023. So you've just come, you've just passed your 1 year anniversary. But Eric, go ahead and say hi to everyone and introduce yourself. Talk a little bit about Fulford Homes and yourself personally.
Hey guys, as they said, I'm Eric Wallace, Director of Sales and Marketing here at Fulford Homes. We are in the St. Louis Metro East. Next year will actually be our 50th year in business. Um, we're really excited to serve the community, and Novi Homes has helped us streamline that process.
Love it. And personally, what's a little bit everybody can know about Eric?
Oh, absolutely. Married, two kids. I'm incredibly loyal. I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. If you follow football, you'll understand the loyalty thing.
Tua.
Yeah, hey, maybe you cleared, maybe you'll come back. I don't know.
Who knows? That's a tough one for Mr. Tua. So big football fan, couple kids. I've actually got four kids, so I hear you. What are the ages on your children?
9 and 6.
Oh, you're in it then. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Both in elementary school. The older ones getting interested in extracurricular activities. So all that's about to start and kick off.
So what is that? Fourth grade and kindergarten, roughly?
Third and first.
Third and first. Okay.
Yeah, she would have been in fourth grade, but her first year of kindergarten was COVID.
Oh,
Uh, and so we had the option to keep her out for another year. And since they didn't know, what they were doing, and with the virtual learning and everything, we held her out for a year.
no, I totally get it. It was a crazy year. My wife's an educator in the elementary education, and she went to a conference recently in Florida, and it had talked about the ACT and the SAT scores since COVID have gone down fairly dramatically. It was like ACT score average went from, I think it was a 21 or 22 down to a 17 last year. And they do believe that part of that is all those kids missing a year due to COVID. So it's super fascinating to kind of see how that's going to affect our younger generation as they come up. So, good choice on not skipping ahead, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you got to give credit to the educators. They did their best with what they were given. Nobody was prepared for people not to be able to go to school. Um,
Absolutely.
Especially the younger educators. It's hard enough keeping young kids on task in the classroom. I've got nothing but respect for educators and what they did through that.
Yeah, she's actually a kindergarten teacher, and I was able to kind of watch some of those classes as they were happening. And I thought, this is madness. This is
Yeah.
this is this is crazy. So, we're right on. Like I said, y'all have been with Novi just over a year, and really and I've said this on every podcast. The focus of this podcast is a platform for our builders to share best practices. And you and I had a conversation at the Jeff Shore Summit. I believe it was back in June or July. And as we were talking, I was like, oh man, I got to get Eric on as one of the first people. I love the story. I love what you're talking about. And it's something that my salespeople are talking about it in the field. But until a builder hears a peer talk about it, it's not necessarily real. You know what I mean? You hear salespeople say, "Oh, it'll do this or it'll do that." Um, but you got some pretty cool stories there at Fulford Homes. Now, you guys are one of the things you do is you're leveraging the pre-sale marketing and engaging with the buyers on the app. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. And what's kind of the feedback you're hearing from your salespeople?
They love getting the updates when someone's gone in and liked a new home, or liked a feature. It gives them a reason to re-engage.
Right.
I know that the F word is the worst thing in sales. Follow up, especially when you don't when sales reps don't feel like they have a reason to follow up. So you get that gives us a lot of advantage there. Well, hey, I know, saw you like something new, or you know that someone's logging back in, so they're interested. Um, it's been really really good for us.
Yeah, and that, and I said it recently on a podcast that I did. The foundation of NoviHome is sales and marketing. And that's where really where our kind of our expertise was. It just happened. We also had a secondary expertise in photo taking. So when we launched into the market, it was digital registration, integration with CRMs, engaging buyers so that your salespeople aren't, calling that, they don't pull out their Excel sheet on a Monday and start calling to see, where their buyer is at. You can actually engage them on their phone and kind of track, well, not kind of, literally track what they're looking at, right? Um,
Absolutely. And you, sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned digital registration. I printed out a couple of copies of these. We actually have um, QR codes that Koi provided us, and we put these in our model homes for people to register. We actually even have them in the windows for if people happen to visit, while when we're closed.
so speaking of COVID, the QR codes came about. I don't know if, I think we all know this, but QR codes, in my opinion, had all but died pre
Yeah,
2020. Like no one was using a QR code. Then
yeah,
all of a
been
sudden,
around, been around forever, but you didn't really see them.
yeah, isn't that wild? And then all of a sudden we're going to restaurants and can I get a menu? And they said, no, scan the QR code.
Yep, yep.
And same thing for y'all with home building. The QR codes are allowing you to, like, you've got those handouts. You said you have them in your model homes in the windows. If you've got a looky-loo that's coming by, like I'm in Utah, and I would say 90% of the builders aren't open on Sundays in Utah, but they're all leveraging QR codes in their model homes or some type of um, unassisted touring technology like an in or now, right?
Yeah,
Um, but it's cool to watch, technology fades, it comes back, and how y'all are leveraging. I love that QR code idea. One thing that's interesting about the QR codes now that we're talking about it is you can actually have those QR codes created specific for each agent. And
yeah. So that Koi actually did that for us.
yeah,
Uh,
isn't that cool?
it is. It's really handy. There's I don't know. It's been great for us.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and then you might mention this, but so when I came on board in January, and we weren't using a CRM platform. Uh, we are right at the finish line with Lasso, and Lasso CRM with ECI, and you guys were a huge reason why we went with Lasso is that two-way NoviHomes integration.
Oh, that's so I love the folks. Let's give a shout out to the folks over at Lasso. Greg Durkin, you owe me dinner, it sounds like, or who, I don't know which sales rep you're working with, but they owe me dinner.
Lauren Lloyd
Okay,
is mine.
Lauren owns, I love Lauren. So Lauren owes me dinner. I'll see her. We're actually attending the ECI Connect conference in Dallas in middle of November. So I'll remind her, hey, you owe me a steak dinner. Um, that is one thing Novi, and this wasn't something that we had a bullet point to talk about, but Novi has worked very hard on the integration side, and it's not always been easy. Yeah, there's a Mark Systems integration that I'm working on right now that I think I'm going 4 months. But today was like a huge win. I opened up my email and I was like, oh yeah, we're there, baby. But those Lasso users that are out there, there is a two-way integration. And which a two-way integration, if you're not familiar with that, means that we can not only push information like photos and notes and chat to Lasso, but we can also receive information from Lasso. And that becomes important if you have an OSC or if you have a certain point in your buyer timeline that you want them to engage with the app or you want the app to be delivered to them, we can trigger that. And so that's cool. That's a big shout out for Lasso. Love those guys. They've been fantastic partners to us. Eric, one thing I wanted, one thing, there's two things I really wanted to focus on with you being on, and I think it's will provide a lot of value for the other builder partners that we work with, is y'all's cadence with photos and then how that rolls over into affecting your job sites. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
absolutely. Absolutely. So when when we launched NoviHomes, we went all in as a company. So we've got a cadence that, barring some kind of crazy weather event, every single Wednesday, the project managers take pictures of every site and upload it to NoviHome, every active job site. And that's even if it's still dirt. I mean, it is literally every week after the work order, they are taking pictures and uploading. We cover that at the work order that's going to happen. We talk about it as even before that. We're talking about NoviHome as a huge benefit and differentiator for us. From the first visit, it's it's huge.
Y'all went all in on adapting with NoviHome, and then the cadence on the photos. What does that look like?
Yeah, so it is. It's every Wednesday, and I probably need to back up just a little bit. Um, so a lot of our customers do sign up for NoviHome before they even buy,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the minimum, when they write a contract, we sign them up for NoviHome before they leave. So they have that communication at the work order, which is where we go over everything. They meet their project manager, they meet the estimators, they meet the warranty manager. The project manager gets added to the list, and then starting that next Wednesday, they start getting their photo updates. We're really good about it. I mean, I don't think we've missed more than one or two Wednesdays, and both were for, one was a heavy rain event and one was snow, and we got it. We updated it just as soon as we could, and customers love it. I would say upwards of 75% of our buyers look at those every week.
It was super interesting. I pulled numbers before we jumped on the podcast. I got some notes right here. Y'all have had, since you started, August 8th was your actual training date, but I don't think you guys really started implementing till September. And so I went September 1st, 2023 to September 1st, 2024. And I think it was 5,700 logins from buyers logging into the
That's
app.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's fantastic engagement, right? Like it is working, and your sales team can see that. And who I got a question for you. Who is taking your photos every Wednesday? How did you guys set that up?
Yeah, so we set that expectation it's for the project managers, so the people that are actually in charge of getting the house built. It's great. At that work order, we also set the expectation that any questions they have for a project manager, as long as it gets put in through NoviHome, will be answered in 24 hours or less. A lot of people utilize that. That's reduced the amount of phone calls that project managers get. Um,
How do your project managers feel about not having to give out their cell phone numbers and just being able to communicate via the app?
oh, they love it.
Yeah, I
They love
set
it.
you up. I set you up for that one.
Absolutely. And the the fact that they don't have to give their numbers out has offset anytime you introduce a new technology, you're going to get some pushback from somebody. Even the best employees can be like, oh, great, it's one more thing that I have to do. But the value from not having to give their number out and having it one place for all of that has so far outweighed the I have to take pictures now.
Right.
Uh, I mean, now they're and that went away really quickly. They're happy to take them. That they really see the value. Uh, so getting your employees on board is always something that especially small businesses worry about with new technology.
Well,
And
I think it's, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles we run into from a sales standpoint is, well, will I have adoption from my employees? And one thing that we have been, we made a huge effort on the Novi side is to make it simple so that the simple and effective, right? It's not hard to use, but then you see the results, and then all of a sudden it becomes fun to use, right?
absolutely, something else as far as like that communication tool. Uh, and I know that each state's a little bit different, and each builder's a little bit different. Uh, but for us, our salespeople work for us, and then we occasionally have outside realtor business. Uh, the fact that you can put a realtor in there and add them to the group, and they get to see those conversations, the benefits that has not only for the customer but for our relationship with realtors is huge. There's always a realtor somewhere that's been burnt by some builder, right? And so sometimes they're adversarial up front because they think that you're trying to hide stuff from them. With the NoviHome app, we're full transparency. That's been great too. I mean, it's when we talk to new realtors, when we have realtor events, we have a slide about NoviHome and about how great it is, and we hear that feedback from our realtor partners as well.
Yeah, and just so what Eric is talking about, just so everyone knows, I'll kind of expand on it a little bit, is you can add the realtor buyer agent. You can honestly add a number of people, if there's a grandparent or somebody else, maybe a family member that's helping with the down payment and they want to see the progress. But you can add that realtor buyer agent, so you don't have to update the buyer, then update the realtor buyer agent. And like you said, realtors have been burned where they weren't paid a commission. And that's one thing that I wasn't aware of when we launched into this space. I thought it was a really cohesive working environment between builder agent and realtor agent. And I learned very quickly that there are some builders that give y'all a bad name out there, right? And then there's builders that are like, we want to work with the buyer agents. We want them helping us drive business, especially in 2024 with the way the market has, bounced up and down with interest rates and different things. But I love that feature. And I'm a person that if you can give me less to do to reach the finish line, I'm all about it. So if that means I don't have to update the buyer agent and the buyer with the same update, I'm in. It makes my life easy.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we all the way up to closing, when we set closing dates, boom, they're right there in NoviHome. Uh, and then after with us after closing, the project manager comes off of the group, and the warranty manager gets added on, and he stays there for 2 years. A lot of times there we'll have a realtor that doesn't want those updates anymore, so we have the ability to remove them from that group as well. Their job's done, and everything's still there.
I love that you are bringing in the warranty manager. And I actually didn't realize that you all are doing that. I had Jason Kipker on with French Brothers Homes based out in New Mexico on a recent podcast. And they also do that. And they found a lot of success. Same thing, 2 years, they stay on for 2 years and then warranty has expired and that commitment to that buyer has expired. You can kind of move on. But what I do love about that is I'm working with my builders is how the flow is seamless. We're just moving from an internal perspective for y'all. You're bringing in a new team member, but for the buyer, same app, same communication platform.
Exactly.
Now I've got my warranty guy and everything is just seamless. It's a seamless transition.
Well, and for us, it has reduced. basically the only time we get warranty calls now is if it's a true emergency.
Gotcha.
So the admin time has been reduced because there's not customers aren't learning to have a new email. They're no longer for little stuff blowing up the warranty manager's phone. It's all in the app that they've been using the entire time.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm so glad to hear y'all are using it that way. That's something that we're definitely internally pushing our existing clients to kind of expand and leverage the technology to the full extent. That's what we always want, right? But I love hearing that y'all are using it on that warranty front. When you and I talked at the Jeff Shore show, the one thing that I was like, I gotta have Eric on the podcast for this is you had mentioned leveraging the technology and the specifically communication with the chat and the photos, um, how that has become your source of truth and it has eliminated buyers walking the job site. Not eliminated, that's the wrong word. Reduced buyers walking the job site. Can you talk to me a little bit
Right.
about that?
So we always set the expectation that even prior to NoviHome, that if you want to walk the job site, you have to be with a Fulford Homes employee. Now, you and I both know that customers don't listen to that.
Listen,
But
they're giving you $500,000 for a home. They'll walk the
right,
job site if they want, right?
right. Now, of course, there's nothing malicious behind it. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We want to be there if they see something that they don't understand. We want to be there to explain it. Lots of positives for that. So we talked about our project managers take those photos every Wednesday, and they are consistent with it. I mean, we hardly miss any of those. And if someone's on vacation or someone's out sick, a different project manager or the director of operations will actually go out and take those pictures for the customer because we want them to have those updates. Uh, the amount of people, I mean, we've reduced most customers to only physically walking the job site at our scheduled walks. Um, and when I say most, I don't have an exact percentage, but I know it's over 80%.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? And so typically how we used to do things is they would schedule a walk with their community sales manager. And so that takes the community sales manager out of the model home for however long that is. Uh, we don't have that now. I mean, it's awesome. It obviously hasn't completely eliminated
Sure.
unsupervised visits,
Sure.
uh, but we don't often get calls of people that aren't workers walking these model homes. Because trust me, neighbors will call you.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who their new neighbor is yet. Hey, somebody's poking around the job site. The we don't, at a previous place I worked, we got those calls all the time. It just doesn't happen here because we have Novia.
So for your project managers and the folks, I mean, what does that do for the team, the boots on the ground, the guys in the trenches? Like now all of a sudden, let's say 18 months ago, they had people walking job sites, showing up, didn't know they were coming. Buyers wanted an update. Now, all of a sudden, you guys are updating them every Wednesday, which I love that. Like, I think everybody should implement a certain time or day that they update the buyers. Like, that's fantastic. Um, but what does that do for your team knowing like, hey, we can get to work and we don't have to worry about number one, y'all there at the office receiving phone calls from the home buyer, but also the guys that are out there, pounding nails.
Right. So, it has a whole lot of benefits, right? So, safety. You don't have people that are untrained in construction that are wandering job sites where there may be stuff overhead or there may be unfinished things.
Sure.
Uh, less interruptions at the job site because when we would do those walks with customers, you typically make your guys stop, especially if they are doing anything dangerous or you and I know all the best contractors like to talk,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because they work alone for so long. The they're and we're thankful to be in a position where all of our contractors are friendly and they want to talk. Uh, but that's can stop them from getting their job done. So by reducing those visits, we're more efficient. Uh,
That go
you
ahead.
know, and then that every Wednesday, the pictures every Wednesday, it also helps in other the project managers in other ways. Um, you know, they're they have a record of how things are getting done and how quick certain parts of the project are getting through and how well it's being done. We have it. We yearly review our subcontractors and like literally, I mean, we score them. And so this year, it's been a lot easier to do that because we have NoviHomes, we have those photos, and if there are issues, we can bring those up to you. You look at the benefits to the customer, right?
Right.
Um, they go 6 months down the road and they want to hang a picture somewhere because NoviHomes keeps those photos, forever. They can log right back into the same app they know, the same app they've used that entire sales process, the same one they're still contacting their warranty people on, and they can look up that wall and see it before there was drywall
Oh, yeah. That's well, and the cool thing, and I know the team's reaching out to all of our existing builders as Milestones has been launched. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you're listening, Custom Milestones is officially live today. So we can actually customize your milestones based on how you want to set that up for your buyers. I love the idea. Now, I haven't built a house, so I haven't been able to use it, but I love the idea of being able to see the framing, the drywall, the electrical, right? And then so then if post close, I want to go in as a home buyer and maybe do something to a particular room, I can go back and see what that framing looks like. Um, Listen, I always love to dream about the future. I wonder what that does for home resale. If I'm looking to purchase a home, not a new home, but an existing home, and I have drilled it down to like two different homes, and one home they can provide me with all the photos, and the other home I have nothing. You know what I mean? It's like it is today. I wonder what that'll do for buyers. But anyways, I digress. I went off on a tangent. So
there. I never even thought of that. That could be a huge selling point.
super cool, right? But just all that information and having that and the experience that they received. I love the way that y'all are using Novi. I love that you're using it through warranty. I love that you're using it through chat, and I honestly love the integration with Lasso. It just we get asked all the time, are you guys a CRM? Absolutely not. We want to help your CRM be better. We're a buyer experience sales and marketing platform, but we have a lot of value that we can push to your CRM. So internally, y'all can make better decisions. I got one final question for you. Um, with your project managers, and this is kind of going back to kind of like rolling this out and implementing it, do they feel, because I could see it if I was rolling this out, if I was you and I introduced this to the project managers, they would be like, oh, great, big brother. Like now you're just trying to watch me and what I do and hold me accountable. But what's the feeling you get from your project managers?
I understand. From what I understand, there was some of that at the beginning, which would be expected, right? Uh, but I mean, they love it. There's zero complaints. I mean, they talk about it at our meetings, right? So we're still a small enough company that we actually have a monthly meeting where the entire company meets.
Right.
Uh, here at the office, and that's a huge benefit. That they talk about it. There is no that I can say. A year in, or a year and a month in, there is absolutely zero negative feedback about
No,
NoviHome from the people that have to use it every day.
I love that. And that's just, I mean, that's an off the cuff question, but something that interests me because I do know we've implemented enough technology that people get nervous. Like, are you just implementing this to Big Brother watch over me, or are we implementing this to be more effective, sell more homes, better communication? And unfortunately, there's technology that lands on both sides, right? Sometimes we do implement stuff to just babysit. But
Yeah,
I'm glad.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we do. I'm glad to hear y'all are actually using it and the adoption out there is fantastic. But I truly appreciate you coming on today. I've been wanting to talk with you since we chatted at the Jeff Shore show. I appreciate, Novi appreciates your business. I just want you to know that. Like, we truly appreciate your business. We're not here today without all of our builder partners. So I want to say thank you. Thanks for coming on. Look forward to seeing you at the next show, hopefully, whenever that is.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.